G'day, dzień dobry, hola, and a big warm welcome to everyone. Welcome to the World of Poorcraft. Today we'll be going through my castle diorama, including all the different ways that we have built everything you can see here out of nothing but household scrap, recycling materials, and paper-mache made from toilet paper and glue. So our windmill here was constructed from paper-mache, and this was one of the first projects that we used paper-mache for the bricks. This one, rather than mixing the paint in with the paper-mache itself, we painted it afterwards, and you can see there's some chipping there where it shows the original white colour through. As we went on, we updated our recipe. We added paint in step by step and then changed it up slightly as it went along, so you get this nice mottled look when you combine all the bricks together. The base of the windmill was made from a cup noodle, and everything else you see was hobby matches, cardboard, and a lot of time and patience. Now, every one of our walls is built around the same type of box. In this case, the Australian classic Arnott shapes. Now, the reason for this is so that every wall has the same height, the same width. And this means that no matter how high we stack them, if the bricks are slightly off in size or don't quite stack up together properly, we have the structural integrity of them being glued on three sides, along with a uniformity in shape and dimension. The box itself has just been filled with old scrap paper, which gives it some sturdiness and stops it from collapsing in on itself once the glue is added. It also makes it quite durable, coupled with the fact that the bricks themselves are made of glue, so this will survive the most rigorous of gaming sessions and is even age appropriate for a child to play with. So, come with us now and we'll go through the process of making our bricks.
And welcome over to our workbench. For today's project, all you're going to need is some sort of cup or container, some toilet paper, and some PVA or craft glue. Now, to start with, you're going to mix your PVA into the cup with around about 1 part water to 2 parts glue. Now, if you find that it's not the right consistency, you can always add in more water or more glue later on stages. Just give it a good mix. Use your fingers if you'd like, you're going to get messy anyway. Once we've mixed the glue and the water together, we go and add just a couple of drops of paint. To start with, we use a couple of drops of black. And then a couple of drops of white. These are just craft paints that we got over the counter at the local hobby store. You can use ones from the dollar store as well. It doesn't really matter at this stage because the quality of the paint really won't affect the quality of the material, as you're just adding some colour to the paper-mache itself and you're not noticing the pigment count or how thin it is. Now, the consistency you want here is still slightly running but still clinging to the side of whatever stirrer you're using. Next up, we tear off a piece of toilet paper, one sheet at a time, dip it into our glue mixture, and then slowly tease it through our fingers, just back and forth. Now we add the paper to the glue by slowly tearing, ripping, squishing, just making sure that all bits of the paper is soaking up some of that mixture. Once that bit's done, repeat the process. keep on doing this until all our mixture is absorbed by the paper and we're left with a paste-like substance. Now, on a side note, this is quite fun. It's a nice tactile experience. It's just nice to be doing while you've got something else going on in the background. I like to do it while I'm watching sport or a movie and just enjoying the moment. Now this batch is quite small. This is just a test batch. You can make a batch as small or as large as you like, depending on the project you've got. If you are making a larger batch, every now and again go through and add just a little bit more white or a little bit more black, and that way you change up the colours, and then at the end, when we put all the bricks together, each brick will have a slightly different hue to the next, which is kind of like how you would look at a stone wall in nature. Once we've got the mixture to the consistency of a putty, we can start sculpting the bricks. Now for this, we're making the smaller size bricks that you can see in our stone wall, our windmill and our well. And we do this by just teasing the mixture between our forefinger and thumb, creating a square-like shape, just squishing down the ends. Now don't stress too much if they come out a little bit misshapen or imperfect, or slightly differing sizes to each other. That's actually a look that you're looking for, and at the end of the day, these were made by some medieval peasant in some fictional faraway universe, and you can just blame them. But I think it's the imperfections like these that actually give it a bit more character, and really set it apart from other methods, such as 3D printing or XPF foam, which really have a more measured and uniform look, which can sometimes feel a little bit out of place, I feel. Not that there's anything wrong with those methods. In fact, we'll be using the XPF foam later on in videos just to be able to show the difference between the two. Now, whatever size brick you have for your first brick, try to model all the other ones on that one. Sometimes I find if I have a master brick for a large project, the very first brick I will paint gold and leave aside. And that way, for all other future projects, if I'm working on the same big section of wall, I'll always have a roughly similar size brick. Now I'm just going to speed up this video a little bit, and you can see the process as it goes on. As I said before, I find this quite cathartic. I often do this while just relaxing on an afternoon, having a chat with friends, either on the phone, on speaker, or on Discord, and just kind of enjoying the experience. Now, occasionally you'll find bits like this, where the glue hasn't quite gotten into all the parts of the paper towel / toilet paper. If you do find a bit, it's no worries. Just tear it with your fingers and work it through until you can feel all the lumps have been removed. Now here we're just adding a touch more black just to get that mottled look. As I said earlier, normally we do this in a larger batch into the mixture itself, but you can just as easily put it in at this stage. If at any point you find that the mixture's sticking to your fingers a little bit too much, or it's feeling a little bit too dry, just dip your fingers in water and that'll help you to shape it without it sticking to your fingers. As you can see, it's quite a messy process, but there's nothing wrong with getting messy every now and again. Now the bricks will shrink slightly as they dry, so gluing them on while they're still wet, you will get some gaps, so it's best to leave them to dry overnight. Now, as we know, paper is wood fibres that have been turned down into a paste and then flattened out into a sheet of paper. So essentially what we're doing here is taking that paste and reforming it back into a wood-like substance. This means that they're super hard, super durable, you can cut it, you can file it, you can sand it, and as our colour is already mixed in, you'll keep the same colour all the way through. This is a big advantage to painting it afterwards, as it means that any chips or any modifications you do, you'll still retain the same colour. And so there we have it, one batch of bricks ready to dry overnight. I recommend a dry and warm place to dry them out, either in front of the window, in front of the heater, or if you're lucky enough, in on top of your hot water cylinder. And after 24 hours, they'll be rock solid all the way through. While these ones dry, here's some that we made earlier. As you can see, this was one that was painted afterwards, so you can still see those little chips where it's been knocked about on the tabletop a bit. Again, this was made by a medieval peasant or a farmer, somewhere in your universe. It doesn't have to be perfect. For our well, we did file down the edges on some of them. Our bases are all cardboard, the beam here is just 3 hobby matches, and the bucket was the lid from our PVA glue with a little paper clip for the handle. The best part about this material is it scales up perfectly. In fact, the bigger ones, probably the easier bricks to make. Because we're using the structural integrity of the box itself, which someone else has already designed, we don't have to worry about stacking them perfectly, which leaves some room to create some interesting things, such as this broken piece. As you can see, we've got some jagged edges here where it looks like it's falling over or falling down, or being broken through. And once you've got your basic material sorted, the world is your oyster. And that's a wrap for our first video. Thank you all so much for coming in. If you did like our video and you'd like to see more, please click like and subscribe. It really means a lot to us. We're a brand new channel and it can really help the algorithm to get our videos out there to more and more people. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you next time on World of Poorcraft.